Hello my friends, and welcome to my July-August Israel's coming back. Just before I start, I want to let you know there is like still a speed up special. So if you order something, it's not going to last 3 weeks as a regular reading. You're going to get it within a week. Also, if you order rush, you're going to get it within 3 days, not a week, and urgent readings 24 hours. So some of you are really familiar with this reading. These cards here are taken from a different deck, and they're called significators. Significator means, hey, I really want to describe something that is happening over here, but this is not a card that I read. So yes, this front row is going to be identical in all the readings because of that. If you did see this explanation, just jump to the reading. But if you haven't, please listen to it because it's actually really important and it's a part of the reading. So this very first card, the Magician, I picked because it's a number 1. I really want to see how to move forward. In this category, as above, so below, what can be the best that can come out of this relationship? What are the tools that they're given? You know, not everybody is given like sort of like, you know, full house. Some of us really have to deal with what basically we are kind of like handed. So this is going to tell me if this is even a starter, this relationship. Temperance here is purposely reversed because in the upright position, Temperance talks, hey, can I mix these two opposites? So let's say one is really good, one is really bad. Is there a point of making this in the middle if it's not? Generally, really, I want to see which things are pulling this relationship apart. What cannot be glued? What has to be glued in order to move forward? Then Queen of Wands is going to be one significator. It could be you. It doesn't matter if it's a male or female, even though I'm using wands all the time. And not everybody is a fire sign, which usually wands are used for. And the reason why I'm doing this is like when we date, we kind of are very action oriented. We kind of like do for a moment, step in this fire and acting like that. And then we sort of like settle in our own sign. This is going to give me communication between the two of you. What's going on? How is it projected? What could or won't happen? And now the two really important cards would be Judgment, which is one of my chosen karma cards. And I want to see in this category, was this a karmic mate? Was this a karmic soulmate? Because then I would advise you, look, get a karmic reading too, because this is actually part of you and your path. You wanted this person to come here. Usually karmic soulmate or twin flame is like, ouch, relationship, right? And here we're going to see where is this going. Is this going a step further or is it not going a step further? So hopefully this was like not too much of introduction, and let's start. Hi Capricorn. Hey, you want a reading for Capricorn with me? Come on. You want to join in? There you go. You have blessing over here. So Capricorn, this is reading for July and for August. So let's see what's hiding in there. Again, it's a general reading. Check your ascendant, check your sun sign, check your moon sign. The best is really getting a private reading. So let's see the direction where this is going. Very interesting, Capricorn. And where is my magic pen? See, got it from a friend. So look how nice and optimistic this kind of like looks, but it's sort of like very one-sided. I can definitely see that you're like really pushing to extreme to kind of like try to make something happen, to try to kind of like reach some kind of like vision over here. But something, you see, like this is the Four of Wands, something cannot progress to the next level. And it takes kind of like two to tango. Like, I don't know, like a King of Swords can mean a judge, can mean the legal proceedings over here. It could be a child support here. It could be that somebody else is kind of involved. This kind of a situation has to kind of like settle down. This is a good night for you, Capricorn, because you see, I can see this like mid-level, this kind of like earthy energy, which kind of like is really, really needed. It's almost like there is like the battle in between this like two parties over something, and one party is like just strictly by the rule, another one is saying, okay, just bite your tongue, like kind of like don't really know in which kind of direction I can go with this. This card I don't like because it does talk about somebody taking advantage of the others. Boy, that's your card over here, reversed. You're actually kind of like doing, you know, you're crossing your like T's and like putting dots on your eyes, dotting your eyes, crossing your T's, as they say. And I'm seeing this whole entire family, or I'm seeing, you know, it's kind of like really interesting that there is like some kind of like new motion, new kind of like thing going forward, because one party here was very much like dominating. It was like really dominating in more ways than one. It kind of like looks like there were kind of like a bit of like mind games over here, and it could be almost like sexual proudness, right? And somebody was either demanding too much sex or taking away sex over here, and it kind of like started to be very, I don't know, like domestic, like very kind of like primitive, very yeah, you kind of like really, really didn't like it. You kind of like are scratching your head over that, or somebody is over here and saying like, what the heck happened? Because somebody's here trying to just avoid responsibility. It was almost like agreement to move to the next level, and now it looks like it was the last moment. I don't know how to go about it. I don't know if I really want it. Your partner, or this partner that you're inquiring about, could be completely slippery, slopey kind of person. The Magician is actually a good card, so don't get me wrong, but given like what I see over here, somebody wants what they want. They kind of like want to claim this victory in the situation, and in any relationship, whenever you claim victory, that's the beginning of the end, even if it's still lasting. Because you simply, we do not live in nuclear families anymore, where, you know, a man has a penis, women have vagina, so penis is more valuable than vagina. No, well, at least not in the first world. And it could be kind of like clashes that I see over here, that somebody is like, what they like to call it, old school, which kind of like it really needs to be retired if you really wish. And somebody is just trying to issue directives and kind of like crack their whip. And the other party, which I think it's you, is saying, I don't think so, dude, or lady, that's kind of like a nice try. But you're also seeing also some other aspect of this person through that kind of like behavior, and that aspect could be that somebody's trying to deflect. That's what I said, combination of the cards. Somebody's trying to deflect the real issue. Because look at this, the communication seems to be really, really kind of broken in between the two of you. It's kind of like rather strange, if you kind of like wish. But what is really needed here is like, okay, so you know what, instead of like trying to butt heads and see who wins, who loses, we actually have to figure out a plan that is workable, another plan where I get more, where I get more. And it looks like this is really your idea in this situation. You're kind of like coming up with solutions or something that is like workable solution, but it's also telling me that you are somehow not seeing something or not hearing something that you should. You know, like when people kind of separate and then they want to come back together. Some people are just happy just to kind of glue together, and they don't really talk about all the issues that they actually had, which causes the same issue to reappear and get bigger and bigger and bigger, and it kind of like doesn't win. Because the devil reversed, you see here we have this door, like here, these lovers are actually chained. They don't really, nobody's asking them, do you really want to be here? It's kind of like when we keep going through the motions and it's a bad relationship, but we are afraid of what is out there, not leaving it. But when this reverses, like there is like a clarity that, you know, there is like a new start that needs to be done over here. Kind of like there is like need to get out of the dark, and just by continuing with the same motions, he, like, you know, what they say, keep repeating the same things and expecting different results. You're actually trying to kind of like put something new in that, and you're saying, okay, you know what, I'm going to try differently this time. You know, I'm just simply not going to really engage. I'm going to kind of try to tame myself, kind of like have this inner fortitude to kind of like deal with you if you wish. Because I see this as kind of more than dating. I know some of you are really asking about a partner, but that somebody is like overly a stiff lip, if you really wish. My friend would say he has a gherkin up to his behind, kind of a thing, very kind of like stiff. But here what is going to happen, there's going to be some kind of clarification or minimization of the issues. Queen of Swords is usually kind of like reaching clarity. It looks like both parties want to reach some clarity in the situation. Whew, oh boy, this almost looks like, you know, you break up with someone, you miss them, and then you get back together with them, and then the same thing happens, which I kind of like seen that happening here. And then you break up again, and then you again miss them. And the reason why you're going through this like cycles is like you're just filtering what you want to filter. You're filtering these good parts, you're forgetting the bad parts. So unless you bring these bad parts and say, look at this garbage, this dirt, we need to clean it. Without cleaning it, it's going to just get more and more and more. And that's the reason why while people spend more and more time together, they have more and more of that pile, and it's like impossible to even kind of like detangle. Well, now you have 1, 2, 3, 4 sixes. This definitely is a karmic soulmate. And hence, I guess, this entanglement has been going on throughout a long time, through possibly centuries. And it's really hard to let go. And I really think that you're actually trying to let go of something. So there is like this final dissolution of it. It's kind of strange. What you wanted from this person is, in spite of your new attitude and new approach to the situation, not going to be workable, because we're actually entering through that Mercury retrograde phase. And look at this, like you have 2 Mercuries. Like your partner might be very, very Mercurian, meaning like they say one thing and you will think, because you're like earth sign, like when something is being told to you, kind of trust them, and you start moving in direction considering that information. But this person is always changing. It's like, wait, did we not say we want the blue walls? Yeah, so I bought the blue paint. Now you want them red? Okay, you go and exchange it, you get the red. Well, now I want a brown. And like now it's becoming like, okay, this is not cool anymore. You go and get it. Whatever it is, I'm not spending, you get my way of what's going on here. Now, they don't want to commit. They kind of like, really looks like they like something casual. They like something that, you know, they kind of like definitely want just like something on their own terms. I just cannot interpret this any different. And it doesn't matter what is the cost to them, how basically or who they wound in this entire kind of like ordeal. I do feel that somebody's finally moving on, whether they are moving on or you are, because look, like this hurt is in the past. And this, everything is like, okay, moving toward the future. Look at all of that. This is the hurt, and this is the hurt, both looking in the past. So, I think to some extent, you also are looking in the past and what happened and what could I have done differently. You're really looking the empirical side of the situation closely, because you're just trying to figure out a system that you're not going to air again. Because look at here, the devil is reversed, which kind of is better. It's kind of like coming toward that light, coming toward that healing, when light meaning finally disperse, finally this darkness is not weighing heavily on us, right? But here, it almost like it's a knee-jerk reaction when you are with someone and you want to show them that you're still likable, that you're still lovable, because Queen of Wands reversed, like you turning into that, can be somebody extremely whiny, extremely demanding. And frankly, maybe because of that, the decision is being made, because it looks like this comes first and then this comes, where almost like everything goes up in the air. Be very careful. You're getting the sixes. That's kind of like Mercury number, and wrong things may be said. You might regret it later. So I totally see that it's going to go from bad to worse to worse. Kind of like it just can cause somebody to literally walk away and sort of like pat yourself on the shoulder. You know what, like I think that was the best for me. It's kind of like I can see your side of the story as well. Hey, I'm trying everything, and this is maybe something that I'm trying, but keep in mind this person is already kind of like halfway there, and you know, so if the fish is not hungry, they're not going to get and kind of like eat that hook kind of a thing. But also, I really want to mention, Capricorn, that you really need to deal with some issues of your own. You kind of like bet it. You put 100% bet on this person. You really trusted, hook, line, and sinker over here. And you did have a gut feeling that this is not it. You did have it. If you really look into that, you will see it. And because you didn't listen to that gut feeling, you started to feel in that relationship that somebody is like grabbing a piece of you a day after day after day, and you just couldn't handle it anymore. It was just like too much for you. And yet, you wanted to work it out. So I can see that if you're here with child, and I don't necessarily see this person cheating, I'll be honest with you, but I see this person not willing to say, hey, I'm staying, I'm here for good. Kind of like they sometimes send you this kind of like vibe, I'm friendly and yes, you can trust me. But then the next thing, it kind of changes. As I told you, they are very kind of like mutable or changeable. It's kind of like currently not no possibility to kind of like really exist. So I think what is suggesting here for August, look, this is kind of like a bridge over troubled waters, right? It's kind of like your problems are still there with you. You know that you have your own issues and your own baggage, but the situation was like so impossible that it's still probably better to try to go somewhere else. So this also can literally mean travel as well. So I don't know if maybe you're just like simply like walking away from something, or literally just going somewhere and maybe trying to figure it out on your own. So this is going to be really interesting time. The good news is like that you're going to actually learn quite a bit about yourself. Bad news is that when you get provoked, that you might actually really kind of like do some damaging things to yourself. So hopefully, you know, this is like forewarned, is forearmed kind of a thing. You kind of like put things in a perspective, and it almost looks like, frankly, that really not much that you can do. You really want to be with someone who is like putting a little bit more bets on you. This is like very little, and not to kind of like lean heavily on this person who is like with one leg already out there. But something might happen that you'll just maybe have enough and say, you know what, I just don't care. Off you go. I don't need to deal with you anymore. So Capricorn, I hope this is kind of giving some information, and you know, this is general reading, and if this is not you, just contact me for the private reading. And also before that, you can check your ascendant and you can check your moon sign, because all of that kind of like is creating us who we really are. And lastly, yeah, my Cat Tarot School is happening, I think, in September, so I'm taking registrations for it. And until the next time, guys, check me on Facebook and check me on Instagram, and you know that I love you. Okay, all the best.